I opened the door to find my neighbor on the threshold. Normally, he was the kind of man who smiled too easily, whose politeness felt rehearsed. Today, his eyes blazed with something I didn't recognize, something dangerous, raw, human. I froze. A cup of coffee in my hand went unnoticed, steam curling upward, mingling with the weight in the air. "Can we talk?" he asked, voice low. Even the words felt measured, like he knew I'd already guessed the wrong answer. I nodded without speaking. Step by step, I let him in. My apartment smelled faintly of lavender and despair, the faint scent of control. He closed the door behind him. I watched, silent, calm. It began as a whisper, a suggestion of betrayal I didn't want to believe. I saw the messages he thought I'd never read, the photos tucked into the wrong folder, the subtle smiles at dinner that didn't belong to me. I convinced myself it was paranoia at first. My neighbor, always polite, always friendly, couldn't. But the truth has a way of slipping through the cracks. He'd been sending letters. Notes of my spouse, unsigned but unmistakably intimate. I stared at them, one by one, my mind pacing the room like a predator circling prey. I remembered the way my spouse laughed at a joke I didn't hear, how their gaze lingered too long on nothing. Every small detail now screamed at me. I had ignored them until now. I began watching quietly. Patterns emerged. Phone records, late-night messages, trips that seemed innocent at the time. They weren't. My heart beat in slow, deliberate rhythms while my mind cataloged every hint, every discrepancy. I became a ghost in my own life. No confrontations, no accusations, just observation. Every moment counted. Every small lie added weight to the inevitable. I calculated. I traced. Cross-referenced, DNA tests, delivery slips, subtle notes left on counters. Everything pointed to the same brutal truth. And still, I kept my calm. Outwardly, I smiled, said good morning, wired plants, paid bills. Inside, a storm roared. Every thought sharpened like a scalpel. The report arrived quietly, like a predator's prey surrendering without a fight. The results left no room for argument. Undeniable, factual, cold. I held it in my hands and waited. The neighbor, sensing something, fidgeted. Politeness faltered, became uncertainty. "I think you should see this," I said. My voice was quiet, controlled. He took the report, eyes widening as the truth settled in. His polite facade shattered into jagged pieces. I didn't speak again. I just watched him absorb the weight of his betrayal, the proof lying in stark numbers, incontrovertible, final. He slumped, defeated, as if gravity itself had been applied to his chest. And still, I remained untouched. The next steps were mine to choose. Not violent, not dramatic, strategic. A calm revelation, a measured devastation. I handed the phone over to my spouse. Messages, calls, photos, everything. I watched, quiet, as their expression twisted into shock, then panic. "Why?" was all they could manage. I smiled faintly. "You know why." No shouting, no tears, just the silence of control and the clarity of truth. They looked at me, the full weight of consequence pressing down, and finally understood they had lost. I left the room without a backward glance, leaving them with everything they had tried to hide, nothing more, nothing less. My power wasn't in revenge, it was in certainty, in finality. Later, I sat alone, the apartment quiet but for the faint hum of the refrigerator. I thought of how fragile trust is, how easily it bends, how thoroughly it can break. No pity, no anger left, just clarity. The betrayal had been real, the manipulation complete, the revelation cold, and I had emerged not broken, not scarred, but certain. I poured another cup of coffee, watched the steam curl upward. Some doors once opened never close the same way. I had walked through mine, and on the other side, I had found control. I exhaled, and finally, I let it go.